Hi everyone, Miss Meek here. Today we're going to talk about rates and unit rates. So rates and unit rates. So first of all, what is a rate? Well, a rate is another type of comparison very similar to a ratio. If you don't know what a ratio is, check out one of my other YouTube videos that talks specifically about ratios. But what a rate is a comparison of two different amounts, and they're going to have different units. So we're going to be comparing two different types of things. So some actually really common rates are listed here. So miles per hour, that is a speed limit. That is a rate for travel. Beats per minute, if you've ever gone to the doctor and they take your blood pressure, they measure your heart rate. Heart rate, that is how many times your heart beats in a minute. That is a type of rate. Words per minute, if you've ever taken a typing test, or even sometimes a texting test where it sees how fast you can text or type, that is called WPMs, which is words per minute. That is a rate of how fast you can type or text. And then price per hour. So if you've ever heard someone say the expression, what's the going rate? What they're asking is, what is someone normally charge per hour to do whatever type of work they're talking about, whether it be photography or tutoring or whatever it is. But that is a rate. It's how much someone's going to get paid for a certain amount of time. Notice that all of the things that are being compared are different. You have miles, which is the distance, an hour, which is a measurement of time. You have beats, which is like a heartbeat, so it's like a physical thing, being compared to, again, another measurement of time. Okay, same thing, price. Price is a type of money, a money number there, and it's being compared to another measurement of time. This is what makes a rate different than a ratio. A ratio will compare things that are the same, while rates are comparing things that are different. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about one of the big important things about rates, and that is called the unit rate. The unit rate is the amount for one. So the amount for one, and that's 1 unit. Sometimes it's also the price for one, but it is the amount for one. Okay, so when we are talking about the unit rate, okay, the unit rate is going to have a denominator of 1. Now we have to talk about that. Okay, how can we get a denominator of 1? Well, let's investigate that with this first example. The first example says Kayla picked 45 apples in 9 minutes. Express this rate as a unit rate. Well, first of all, we have to identify our rate. Our rate is actually right here, 45 apples in 9 minutes. To set up my rate, I want to use my words first. So I'm going to write my rate with words. I have apples over minutes. And again, we write our rates as a fraction. All right, you don't necessarily have to, but fractions are really the easiest way to deal with rates because we're going to use them sometimes to find other things, and so it's easiest in fraction form. Once I write my words, okay, again, notice the order. My apples came first and then my minutes. So apples is my numerator, minutes is my denominator. You can switch that around, but remember, we want to know the unit rate. So we're trying to figure out how many apples Kayla can pick in 1 minute. So minutes really need to be on bottom because remember, I want a denominator of 1. Well, if I want to know how much 1 minute is, that 1 needs to be on the bottom as a denominator. After I use my words, I'm going to plug in my numbers. So my numbers are 45 for apples and 9 for minutes. So again, step 1 is to write this with words. Step 2 is to plug in the numbers. So plug in numbers. A unit rate has a denominator of 1. So how do I get a 1 on the bottom here? What do I have to do to that 9 to make it a 1? Well, if you're thinking about division, you are correct. I am going to divide that denominator by 9. I'm going to divide it by itself because 9 divided by 9 will give me that 1 unit that I want as my denominator. I have to be equal, so I have to be fair and use equality. And so that means if I divide by 9 on my denominator, I have to divide by 9 on my numerator as well. And so 45 divided by 9 is 5. So what this tells me is the unit rate. It tells me that Kayla can pick 5 apples in 1 minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to divide by the denominator. And when I do that, it gives me my unit rate. It gives me my unit rate. And so this right here, this is my final answer. This is my unit rate. It tells me how many units she can pick in 1 minute. So she can pick 5 apples in 1 minute. That is my unit rate. Let's go ahead and take a look at another one. It says Ginny can run 4 miles in 20 minutes. How far can she run in 1 minute? Again, let's use our words. We are trying to figure out how much she can run in 1 minute. That means that my minutes need to be on bottom because I want a 1 for minutes. And the 1 in a unit rate is the denominator. After I write my words, I'm going to, and again, here's that rate right here. Let me underline it for us. This is our rate. I'm going to use my numbers, so I'm going to plug my numbers in. I have 4 miles, so again, make sure you're lining up that 4 with the miles on top. And then I have 20 minutes. Again, my minutes are on bottom, so make sure that that 20 is down there at the bottom. To find out how long to get that 1 on the bottom, how far she can make it in 1 minute, I'm going to have to divide that bottom denominator by itself. I'm going to have to divide it by 20 because 20 divided by 20 gets me that 1 that I want. After I divide the bottom by 20, I have to divide the numerator by 20 as well. Now, don't freak out. Don't worry. Okay, we are going to get a decimal, and that's okay. You can have a decimal when it comes to miles or a distance, and also when it comes to rates. So down here to the side, I'm going to do a little bit of scratch work here because I am going to show my work and work this problem out. Okay, 20 does not go into 4. So I add a decimal point and a 0. 20 goes into 40 2 times. That is going to be 40. I subtract. And so I find out that she can run 2/10 of a mile in 1 minute. And so this right here is my final answer. This right here is my unit rate. That tells me how far she can run in 1 minute. That is 1 minute. A unit rate is the measurement of one something. 1 minute, 1 mile, $1, 1 hour. It really depends on your problem, but it is the measurement of 1. How much is it going to be for this 1 amount? Okay. So let's look at one more problem here. This one is involving money. So technically when you're working with money, it's called the unit price because mathematicians like to get fancy with their words. But we're still finding the unit rate, okay? So let's go ahead and identify our rate. It's right here. It says it costs $36.60 for 3 pairs of jeans. That right there is our rate. It's telling us how much it is for a certain amount. That's our rate. The first thing I want to do is write my rate out with words. So I'm going to have money over pairs of jeans. Because if I had finished reading that question, it says, what is the price per pair of pants? Okay, so pairs of pants or jeans is going to go on the bottom here. They want to know how much it costs for 1 pair of pants. So that means I want that 1 to be my pant number, okay? I want that 1 to be my denominator, so that means pairs of pants have to go on the bottom. My numbers, all right, so 36 is my dollar amount. That is my top number. The big important thing about rates, y'all, is you got to line up your numbers. So if I put my money on top, I better put my money number on top as well, okay? When I set everything up. That's what keeps everything super equivalent and working correctly. My 3 pairs of jeans, that's going to go on bottom next to my pair of jeans label here in yellow, this one right here, okay? And then we are going to find the unit rate, meaning that we're going to find out how much it costs for 1 pair of pants, 1 pair of jeans, okay? To get that 1 on the bottom, I'm going to divide by 3. I'm going to divide by the denominator. That will give me that 1 on bottom. Now, to keep everything fair, to keep everything equivalent, I am also going to divide my numerator by 3. Going to do some scratch work down here so we can figure out what that answer is going to be for 1 pair of pants. 3 goes into 3 1 time. I subtract. 3 goes into 6 2 times. I subtract. Running out of room here. 3 goes into, don't forget your decimal. Bring it on up. 3 goes into 6 2 times as well. I subtract. I get 0. and 3 goes into 0 0 times. So I find out that my one pair of jeans is going to cost $12.20. This right here again is your unit rate. This is the unit rate. This is how much it costs for one pair of pants. That's what the unit rate is. All right, guys, well, that is our lesson on rates and unit rates. If you are confused about ratios and how they're different, make sure you check out my ratio video on my YouTube channel. I hope that this clears up how rates work and how do I find unit rates. I will talk to you later. Bye.